Hi, guys. Woo, welcome to the full moon in Aquarius reading. I'm laughing because the last few days have been pretty intense. I think since the new moon in Cancer, things have been really, really intense. Yeah, and we've been going through a lot of releasing since the new moon in Cancer. We've had Venus go retrograde, and that's been adding a lot of that self-doubt and those fears, like, man, Venus retrograde is hard. And Venus retrograde while the nodes are squaring Pluto. It's hard right now, you guys. It's so hard right now. So we're going to talk about that here in a minute, how hard things are for us. But first, I wanted to let you guys know that I'm really excited how fast our Patreon is growing. Like, it just shows me that that's the right direction for me to go during this really confusing, unknown time in life. And this Venus retrograde has us all rebranding ourselves and like reinventing ourselves and all of that. And like, usually I'm really good at that, but I'm just in a time in my life where I'm exhausted. It's like, I don't want to rebrand myself anymore, but I know that it's still here and I know that it's still coming. And I know that this is what we're doing. This is, I mean, it's for growth. It's for maturity. I personally also in my own natal chart have Saturn on some pretty difficult spots. Saturn square my moon. Saturn is opposite my Venus right now, which also means that Saturn is conjunct my south node because my Venus is conjunct my north node in my natal chart. So Saturn is like he's like attacking me, accosting me. He's really actually asking me to take stock and taking stock of things is very important right now while all of our lives are sort of being thrown around in mass chaos. So we have our Patreon up and we have in the last month gained like 10. I think we are up to 9 Patreons. If you want to be the 10th Patreon member for our month, I will celebrate you. You'll get an extra 10% off the website. Members get 10% off, by the way. So anyways, I just want to, that was a really, things like that show me that I am still impacting people in a positive way. And that's been an interesting message for the last several years for me. So we would love to join you we would love for you to join us on Patreon. Also, another announcement that I wanted to make is that we will be moving most of our content to our website. So it's going to be either on our website or on Patreon to find readings. We're still going to keep our YouTube channel up. You guys, and someday I'm going to tell you the story about YouTube and my story that I had with YouTube and how it helped to evolve me, not in really pleasant ways, but it helped to evolve me. And I'll tell you that story someday, but today's not that day. But there's a reason why it's time for us to start to move away from YouTube. I've been trying to do it for years. And it's just easy to get stuck in that cycle. But there's just so many parts of like Saturn conjunct my north node. The story's got to end. There's a story that has to end in my career. And that is it. Like I am done with. So as much as I have grown with YouTube, it's time to start branching out in a lot of different ways because this world is changing, you guys. And so I don't want to lose the ones that watch us. So I will keep everybody updated on how that's happening and what's happening with that. Want to make sure that if you want to continue to watch the updates that I give, that you have the information for that. But I did want to kind of give a heads up on what's going on. So So this Aquarius full moon may have been feeling, there's a lot of really needing freedom in a lot of ways, like feeling very restricted in certain areas of your life. Like you may have been feeling this leading up to the Aquarius new moon. And the Aquarius full moon, not the Aquarius new moon. It's not the Aquarius full moon, new moon. So this is going to be the first of 2 super moons in August. We have the Aquarius full moon on August 1st, and then we'll have the Pisces full moon on August 30th. And in between there, we'll have the Leo new moon on August 16th. All of that information is going to be on Patreon for your rising sign. And that'll be dropping on the 1st. So you'll be able to see how each of those events are going to be happening, for you and your rising sign. August is going to be a month of releasing, like right off the bat. And we're already feeling that. Like anything that you're feeling restricted in right now, anything that you're feeling like that worthiness is kind of that self-doubt and that worthiness, it's showing you what to pay attention to in your life. These are the moments of astrology where astrology is not doing things to us, right? Like we want to get away from the idea that, oh my God, Mercury retrograde made this happen. Or, oh my God, the Aquarius full moon is doing this to me. No. What astrology does is it puts the energy in a certain place that affects us. Okay. And when it affects us, then it's our responsibility to take accountability for how it affects us. And I'm talking to myself too. You guys have no idea the way that I have acted in the last 3 days. It has been horrible. But there's some demons I had to get rid of. Like, I kind of want to laugh about it right now because we all go through these stages and, there's reasons why it happens, layers, why it happens. And these kind of full moons that are going to be happening in August, are helping us to see what needs to be let go of in our life so that those restrictions, and it's bringing to attention our own behavior and how we respond to certain situations and such. And how are we excusing our behavior? What are we doing to excuse our behavior? And so we're having to really ask ourselves that, especially with Venus retrograde. So here we are. We have the full moon here in Aquarius at 9 degrees and 15 seconds of Aquarius. The new moon is up here in Leo, of course. So we all know, if you don't know, a full moon is when the sun is opposite the moon. Exactly. That's when a full moon happens. You can see all these red lines going on here. What is that? So these red lines are, these are the ones that, we would want to pay attention to. So we have the opposition of the full moon, that red line. And then we have this opposition cross here where Mercury is applying to an opposition to Saturn. And Mercury opposite Saturn can make us all in a really heavy, serious mood and can make things really intense and really deep. If you're feeling restricted when it comes to, if you may find like authority figures are restricting you, or you feel like other people in your life that may think that they're authority figures to you are restricting you. And then we also have the Pluto square still happening. When the nodes regressed back to Aries and Libra, that happened on the same day of the Cancer new moon, the 19th of July, I believe. Pluto and the nodes were at that 29th degree square, and Pluto was 1 foot in the past and 1 foot in the future, right there, halfway between the nodes. And we have a choice right now. We can continue to choose our past, and we can continue to go through those cycles that are restricting us. We're seeing the restriction. or we can choose the future that is unknown and full of fear. And we don't know what's going to be happening with the future. The past, even if those cycles are hard that we keep on repeating and they get more tense and more tense and more tense, it's a comfort zone. And the South Node often represents that comfort zone. But the North Node drags us, whether we like it or not, drags us into the future. So here we are making these massive transformations in our life and changes in our life. And it's hard. And it's really intense. And it's really painful at times. And so we must remember to be kind to ourselves during all of this, because the more kind we are to ourselves, it's easier to be kind to others. Right. And that's something that I had to remember in the tantrums that I threw in the last couple of days. I can laugh at least I can laugh at myself. There was collateral damage. Definitely things had to be taken care of. But, you know, sometimes when we don't have those outbursts, they fester and they turn into cancer in our bodies. And ask me how I know. Ask me how I know. Okay. And so finally we have Mars trine Jupiter. And normally Mars trine Jupiter would be one of those transits where we could really enjoy the energy of it and have that boost of energy and have that kind of like ego drive, wanting, you know, our ego energies are focused on future forward momentum. And that's what I feel like is going to happen with this. I do feel like our ego energies are going to be focused on the future and focused on wanting to push into the future or be dragged by the North Node into the future. However, that's looking for you. I do feel like that's going to happen, but it's going to be uncomfortable. And I'm not a person that likes to fear monger when we're talking astrology, but I'm going to give you the truth. And that's not putting fear into you. That is literally saying there are so many different things that could be happening right now. But above all, the energy is right. Like the energy is setting you up for future success. And so allowing yourself to get through those tantrums and allowing yourself to see where those restrictions are, because when we're restricted, our soul screams loudly. And sometimes that comes out in a 3-year-old tantrum out of a 44-year-old woman's body. I'm just saying. So this, and a lot of us might have already been feeling this. I mean, I know that I wanted to do this reading for you guys 3 days ago, and I just was not in the place to do it. And I kind of feel like I had to feel the energy of what this full moon was actually guiding me to do and the collective to do before we sat down to talk about it. But this is a big time. This is a really big time. And I've been talking about how big of a time this is for several months now. Having the nodes regress to Aries and Libra and having Pluto square these nodes is hugely transformative for us. And so lean into it, you guys, lean in and let the emotions be released. Like my eyes are still watering. I have so many tears still yet that want to come out of my eyes and they're still watering. So there's, you know, just let it happen. And it'll be uncomfortable. It'll be uncomfortable. It'll be uncomfortable. A little bit of discomfort in your life equals a lot of freedom later. And maybe a little bit of clarity too. You might find some clarity out of this full moon once you get yourself out of some of the restrictions that life has put you into. Or you may even feel like it's not life that's put you into it, but you have put yourself into it, you know, and now you're like, I've made this choice for myself in the past, and I'm ready to let go of that choice and move on to future things. So let's see what is happening tarot wise. We're going to do a surrender card first. The Power of Surrender by Judith Orloff. What are we as a collective surrendering for this new full moon? I keep saying new moon. Wow. You know, even the Leo new moon on the 16th is going to feel like a full moon. I'll try to get to that one quicker than this. I'll try to get to it much quicker. Surrender your need to always be right. Give others the gift of letting them be right. Be yielding and not rigid. This will help resolve conflicts and improve your relationship. So Aquarius, this being an Aquarius full moon, Aquarius is the sign of humanity. Aquarius is the sign of our hopes and dreams and what it is that we want to accomplish in the future. But it's also about not just about our needs, it's about other people's needs too. So it might help some of us to go and volunteer, you know, during this time, help those that are the most vulnerable, help those that are in need. I actually got an idea to help volunteer with the oncology fundraisers that they do, because I'll be getting help through those fundraisers as well. And so I wanted to, you know, be able to help do that. And I got that idea just a few days ago when I went and saw the oncology social worker. And I was like, oh, wow, what an Aquarius full moon situation to have put myself in. How interesting. So, that really might help the restrictions and the tensions. If you find that helping other people, like being of service for other people can, that can, especially if this is happening in your sixth house. Okay. Cards. Surrender your need to always be right. Give others the gift of letting them be right. Be yielding, not rigid. This will help resolve conflicts and improve relationships. Interesting. Oh yeah. This is definitely pushing this full moon is pushing us into the future. I don't know if it's pushing us. It might feel like it's pushing us sometimes. So we have the Strength card. We have the Chariot. And we have the Four of Pentacles. Okay. So the Strength card is not just about being strong. It is about being strong, but it's not just about being strong. The Strength card is resilience. And the Strength card is about taming our own demons, which I talked about a little bit with my own personal things that I went through in the last couple of days. But every Strength card that you see usually has, not every Strength card, but most of them has like an angel with a lion, and the angel is either on top of the lion. Sometimes the angel has the lion's mouth open. And to me, that's very representative of being able to tame your own demons. And I feel like being able to tame our own demons is what's helping us to push forward into the future, right? With this Pluto square the nodes. Pluto will be square the nodes until August 4th. And that's when the nodes will regress back to 27 degrees. Pluto will still be at 28 degrees. But that's when we'll start to feel that, like, you're going to feel a lightening, the like light, things are going to start lightening up a little bit. And that's one of the reasons, is because the nodes are going to be regressing back to 27 degrees and pulling away from, moving away from Pluto. So I do feel like in order for us to continue forward in our journey and our path, then we have to be resilient and be willing to look at our own inner demons and tame them. And then we have the Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles can be a very restrictive energy. For some of us, we need to start saving money. We need to start penny pinching a little bit more. We need to be a little bit more frugal. For some of us, we need to let go of the not be so stingy, right? A lot of, money is so restrictive. Money is where the lack comes from because abundance is everywhere. If you look in nature, there's always something thriving in nature. Yes, is there something dying? Of course, but that's the circle of life. There's always something thriving in nature. Lack and fear comes from money, survival mode, the way that we were programmed to live this life sometimes, right? So let's look at this. We have Venus retrograde in Leo. We have the sun in Leo. And we have the Ace of Cups coming out on the Strength card. The Strength card represents Leo. And the Ace of Cups coming out on that Strength card is representative of your own self-healing and your own self-worth. And when your cup is overflowing, that's when you give to other people. If your cup is not overflowing, you got to find a way, right? To come out of that restrictiveness. When you are loving on yourself, you can love on others easier. It is easier to love on others. You want to, there's a desire to love on others when you're loving yourself. And I feel like that's what this Venus retrograde is telling a lot of us. When you love on yourself, there's a desire for other people too. There's a desire for you to love other people too. Chariot, let's see. And the Four of Pentacles. There will be victory from this full moon and from moving forward into the future and not staying in the past. There will be victory. And I feel like a little bit of discipline is coming as well. And I think some ideas too. We have the Six of Wands with the Chariot. And the Six of Wands is being recognized by people. The Six of Wands is, man, sometimes it's just showing up for yourself so that other people can see you too. Sometimes that's all that is, right? And it sounds easier said than done, but it's a very Leo kind of card, that Six of Wands. It's expressing yourself. It's being authentic. It's, showing who you truly are so that your people can see who you truly are. And then we have the Queen of Swords on the Four of Pentacles. The Queen of Swords can very much be tunnel vision sometimes. She sort of has like an idea of the things that she wants, right? So there's this restriction that's happening. I feel like the Queen of Swords is being a little bit harsh. So, and it feels like it might be because there's some kind of lack mentality when it comes to the monetary or the finances. And that makes sense. Everybody's strapped right now, you guys. Like Venus retrograde is going to suck. People feel really, and people aren't actually strapped. It's just the idea. They think they are, that worthiness plays a role in that energy flow. And that Venus retrograde is having us look at our worthiness in a big way. And if we can't find that middle ground for our own self-worth, then it's going to be hard for the energy flow of money to happen as well. So not being so rigid with yourself and not being so rigid with other people. I'm learning that myself too. So getting out of survival mode is hard. And you can get out of it and be out of it for a while. And then something happens and boom, you're right back into it. It is one of those DNA coded things inside of a person's body that is like the hardest to cast out. And like, I have been working on staying out of survival mode for a really long time. And it feels like the more I get tested more and more, right? You know, the tests become a little bit harder as I get better. But I think that there are going to be some ideas. It looks like with the Page of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords at the bottom of the deck, I feel like there's a new beginning that's happening. The Ace of Swords can often be like divine knowledge, right? Like you sit down in meditation with Source, and Source is like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And all of a sudden you have this brilliant idea. But you might have to start at the beginning. With the Page of Pentacles, it's like kind of being the student and not just, you know, and so like starting from the beginning. Also, some of you might be hearing some information about or getting into an argument with an earth sign that is acting a little bit childish. I'll leave it there. That just came through. So I love you guys. And I hope this full moon does not destroy your self-worth, because I think that there's a lot of places where it could. I hope it empowers you. I hope that if you feel the discomfort, you're able to move through it softly, and then it empowers you. And if you need anything, you know where to find me. I love you guys. Take care. Bye.